first, I would like to know what's your understanding on freedom, and in your opinion, how can we get freedom?
Yeah, freedom is not freedom from someone or freedom from something. Freedom is something that is part of our nature, all right? So it's not something that you have to strive hard and fight hard and to be able to get, but freedom is ours always, right? So it is not something that we get from another person, right? Freedom, so freedom is there with you even if you're put inside bars, you see, in a prison. You're still always free. Freedom is part of our nature, right? So once you realize that, no one can take away the freedom that you have, right? So there are things in life that can simulate your thoughts, all right? Stimulate your thoughts, just like when you are put in prison, that you may be, the thoughts may be that you are locked up, all right? That you don't have the freedom. But that is, it is, it does not affect your freedom in its original sense of freedom. Your thinking, all right, your being, your living, all that is, that's freedom as part of your nature that is not disturbed by it, all right? You can be in the prison and you can still be most happy and most alive and most, you know, free to think and free to be, and, you know, all that is part of your, whatever that is part of your nature stays part of your nature. So that is not taken away from you, all right? So while there may be misleading, what happens to us, we, just like in forgiveness, we think that someone has hurt you, or we think that that you have hurt the other person, or you think that that you have to forgive, all right? All those things are thoughts, all right? So let go of those thoughts. And so the same way also freedom, when you're put behind bars, or when someone puts a barrier for you to do something that you want to do, then you begin to think that you have lost your freedom. But it is, that has nothing to do of your freedom, because you are always free, right? Freedom is not something that you get from somewhere, but freedom is always part of our nature. It belongs to us and no one can take it away from us. So this is a basic thinking about freedom. That's my thinking, and it's also well accepted thinking about freedom, right? So, so it's all about living that freedom is a different thing, right? Living that freedom, being aware of that freedom, being living that freedom means to experiencing that freedom gives you joy and gives you happiness, gives you that peace and equanimity in life, you see, that you're not disturbed by anything that happens, because you know that none of these things touch your freedom. Actually, your freedom is always with you, and that you can live it the way you want it, right? And experience its presence. Once you have that experience of your freedom, then of course you begin to understand a little more deeply what true freedom means, right? So freedom, as we said, is not a freedom from someone or from something or from somewhere, all right? It is about freedom is part of our very nature. So that is something that belongs to us, so that no one can really touch it. So this thinking has to become, once we are rooted in this thinking, not distracted by anything that happens to us, right? And then, of course, just like in forgiveness, you begin to think that you are hurt. You think that you have hurt someone, right? So just like forgiveness, we said forgiveness is to realize that there is nothing to forgive. So also in this freedom, when your thinking begins to disturb and makes you miserable because you think that you have lost your freedom, right? Thinking that your freedom is taken away, all right? Then, of course, then our thoughts can really affect us, all right? So that is where your question of it is about coming to the realization of your true self, right? So becoming more and more aware of these thoughts and let them not be attached to them, right? Not being hijacked by them, taken away, distracted by them. Then of course you always can live in that natural freedom that is yours. So that also is something to do with your practice again, you know. So because our thing, just like in forgiveness practice, we say that it is when you don't have this awareness of your thinking, our thoughts could create alienation. They could create this slavery, you know. In other words, that you are slave to someone or you are dependent on someone, all that, you see. But actually, those are just your thoughts that come and disturb you. So once you get truly in touch with your natural freedom, then you can realize these are just thoughts. They just come and you could be aware of them coming, and you can allow them also to go away. So letting go of those thoughts, you see, not holding on to them. So that gives you more living in that freedom.